breaking down each division. This week we've got the AFC South and the NFC South, keeping it in the Southern Hemisphere. AFC South teams. You
Don't
got
get
the
to
Houston
Big Ten. Don't worry,
Texans.
Jacob.
You got the Houston Texans, the Indianapolis Colts, the Jacksonville Jaguars, and the Tennessee Titans. So let's start with them. Who's your pick to win the AFC South, Jacob? You're shaking your head. You don't like the AFC South.
My pick to win the AFC
Oh,
South,
God.
believe it or not, folks, is the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Hey,
I think it's a good pick. I like the
No,
pick.
I think that they have completely reinvented what it means to play in Jacksonville. I just think that Trevor Lawrence has learned a lot. They have a veteran coach in Coach Peterson. I think that they really, I think they really have an opportunity to be the team that leads the AFC South for quite a long time. They have good running back, activity. They have good wide receivers, young wide receivers, some vets. They have everything. In something in that division that nobody else has is defense. And Jacksonville, I think, by far has the best defense in the AFC South.
Okay. Like it. Tyler, who's your pick?
Yeah, this is pretty easy. I don't think that the division's not going to be much of a race. It's going to probably be over by like week 9 or week 10. This is going to be a runaway for the Jacksonville Jaguars, and this offense is going to get better. They're getting Calvin Ridley back, and this guy was an absolute beast whenever he was on the Atlanta Falcons before he was betting on football. So he's going to be back. Trevor Lawrence, he's going to be one of the top quarterbacks. I think that he's going to have last year we really good. This year, I think he's going to take it to the next level. And Jacob hinted at it. It's a young, talented defense. They showed it on their way to the playoffs. So not really much to say about it. Jaguars are going to win this division pretty handily.
Okay, Wade, pick somebody, but it can't be the Jaguars.
All right. Well, I think the Titans have the best chance to take down the Jaguars. I think that they'll probably split their season series. Ultimately, Jacksonville will take it, but I think the Titans are being slept on just a little bit. I think their defense was good enough last year to hang in there against the Bengals and the Chiefs. But
says it right here. Defense one of the top in the league.
So, yeah, I think they have the seniority to hang in there, but ultimately, if Jacksonville clicks, they should take this.
Okay. The only thing with Neil there, I to Neil's comment, the only thing is Neil, they might have a top defense, but they have to be able to score the football. And if they can't score the football, they can't win games, which they struggle to do.
Neil, let me know who you want to start at quarterback.
Yeah,
Will Levis.
It's going to have to have a full flip.
It's going to be Tannehill this year.
For them to even have a remote chance to compete in this division.
All right, well, the other two teams we didn't talk about were the Houston Texans and the Indianapolis Colts. Out of those two teams, who do you see having a better season? They both have brand new quarterbacks with C.J. Stroud and Anthony Richardson. Of course, Indianapolis has a phenomenal running back, where the Texans had a guy in Dameon Pierce who looked really good last year in his rookie season, but he had an injury to end that season. Let me ask you, Tyler, who do you like better, the Texans or the Colts?
I like the Texans. I definitely like their 2 draft picks that they added. C.J. Stroud. I don't know if C.J. Stroud's ultimately going to be the starter in the first couple of weeks. I think it's going to be the Davis Mills show to open up the season. Then it's going to be a quick transition to C.J. Stroud. I think it's going to be the complete opposite of Indianapolis. I think that they're all in on Anthony Richardson in the top 5 and, spend all that capital on, trading up for him. I think that Anthony Richardson's going to be their guy. Matt Ryan is no longer with them. And, Carson Wentz there. So they're just done with the quarterback carousel. They just want a guy that's going to be with them consistently. Their defense, though, they definitely have a lot of key holes on them. Their offense, outside Jonathan Taylor and Michael Pittman, they're just not an offense that really scares you. I think that Houston's offense, so they are one of the, the sneaky offenses are slowly building around. So, Brandon Cooks is now on the Dallas Cowboys. So Nico Collins is going to be their wide receiver 1. They have Dalton Schultz. He was, one of the most consistent tight ends, Dak Prescott in Dallas. And like you talked about, Dameon Pierce. He had a season with them. I think that he's going to take full force to that position. And then you also have Will and Yavingly, who's one of the best cornerbacks. So I think that Houston's ultimately going to be the third-place team, and Indianapolis is probably going to be vying once again for the number 1 pick. I don't think they're going to be that good.
Okay, interesting take there. Maybe they give up on Richardson halfway through the season. Let's shift gears though. I guess I can give you my pick. I want to say Jacksonville, but I'll be different. I'll go hometown Houston Texans. CJ Stroud lead them to the top of the AFC South.
You want to place the bet down?
It happens. I mean, we've seen the AFC first to worst scenario a couple times, and if there is a wide open division, this is one of them.
Yeah.
Worst to first.
That's what he means. Let's shift gears. NFC South, a division that the four of us are very familiar with Wade being the hometown Carolina Panthers fan, and then the three of us being the New Orleans Saints, and of course we have the Atlanta Falcons and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Tyler, you mentioned QB carousel. This is a QB carousel division. 4 completely new QBs. You got. Why did I just blank on his name? Mr. Bryce, that's up in Carolina. I can't remember his last name. So,
Bryce Young.
Yes, Bryce Young in Carolina, Desmond Ridder in Atlanta. It's the Florida cat. What's his name for Tampa Bay now? Who's
Baker's there? You're looking like.
Do you think Baker's going to be the starter?
Yep.
Yeah.
There's no way that Kyle Trask is going to be the starting quarterback.
I think Baker has a decent year, enough to keep him getting paychecks.
No, they won't. They're going to be vying for the number 1 pick, and they're going to be picking Caleb Williams next year.
Maybe.
Okay.
Their plans are
Derek Carr in the New Orleans.
They're kind of like the Titans. The defense is good enough to win them some games.
Yeah, they just got to stay healthy.
That's I think the key ingredient to everybody. So, out of the 4, Jacob, who's your pick to win the division?
My pick to win the division is the Carolina Panthers.
Oh, I knew he was going spicy. I saw the look on his face.
And the
twinkle in his eye.
And the reason why it's not Bryce Young, and I think it's because the Panthers kind of figured it out late in the season last year. Because honestly, I mean, the NFC South was so atrocious last year that nobody should have watched a game of football in the NFC South. I think that Carolina is ultimately a team I think that can win 9 or 10 games and win the division. I definitely think it's going to be a struggle. Teams are going to split. It's honestly going to be what we've seen the last few years. Bryce Young brings a lot to the table offensively, obviously. Defensively, Carolina's gotten really good. They've got a young core, and I really think that they can develop them into a really dominant defense in the NFC in the future. Their secondary is very underrated. They're also really young, so I think that they ultimately can win the division. Best second place team right behind them is probably New Orleans. I think the Saints are probably the second if they can drum up some offense this year.
That's a big question.
That's a big if. So, it's kind of how is it going to be with Derek Carr taking the reins? The world may never know. So I don't know, but it's I'm just being realistic.
Jack says boo. He doesn't like it, Jacob. He says who that?
I don't know. I'm not a Saints fan, so I can't I don't know.
Well, yeah, you're a Patriots fan. I guess your opinion doesn't matter. Tyler, who are you picking to take the NFC South?
Yeah, I think that this is going to definitely be an interesting division to watch. Like you mentioned, the different quarterbacks in this division. I do think that Bryce Young in his first year is going to be the story to watch. How he goes from going to a system like Alabama to Carolina. They have added Miles Sanders, who I'm sure that, Jacob remembers and loves. But I think
not
that
fantasy-wise, but
the question mark, though, is going to be at the wide receiver position. There's no longer DJ Moore, so it's going to be Terrace Marshall and DJ Chark. I think that those are going to be the 2 wide receivers to watch. I do think that they have one of the best defenses in this division. Tampa Bay, like you mentioned, the offense, that's going to be a huge question mark. You don't have, the GOAT of the sport of Tom Brady going to Baker Mayfield, right. Who has had his bright moments, but more than not, it's been more negative. So, and then you have the Atlanta Falcons with their young talent. We'll see, if Desmond Ridder can take it to the next level so this team, can make it back to the playoffs. They added a guy like Bijan Robinson, who's one of the elite running backs in his draft class. Drake London, You know, he had some injuries. So, you know, Kyle Pitts, can he finally show up and, you know, be a big threat in the red zone? I think that their defense does have some young talent, but it's just a step away. I think it's just the Saints. I think that the Saints just have the best roster, you know, out of all these divisions. You know, Derek Carr isn't no Drew Brees, but I definitely think it's a step up, you know, from Andy Dalton, what they had last year. It's been some injury concerns with Jameis Winston. And I think that the wide receivers, you know, you're hopefully expecting that Michael Thomas, you know, will get a full season out of him, but you just never know. But I don't even think it matters. I think that Chris Olave is going to be their wide receiver one this season. Rashid Shaheed has also been a huge threat. And then you add guys like Foster Moreau in the offseason period with Jawan Johnson. I think that this offense has all the talent. And Alvin Kamara suspended. You have a guy like Jamal Williams and Keandre Miller. And then your defense, you know, is one of the best defenses still. You added Brian Brzee through the draft. So I do think that this will be a close division. I have Atlanta finishing second. I just think that they have the talent on both sides of the ball to compete. I do think that there will be some splits between the four teams, but I think that New Orleans will win this division. I'll say that they win it at 11-6.
I like it. I think New Orleans takes the cake. Honestly. Bold prediction.
Yes, Jacob, would you like to, you know, we haven't been here in a while. Would you like to start up a debate?
11?
11 wins for the Saints.
11 wins is going to win the division.
It's one of the easiest schedules in the NFL. So I think that would
shock me. 11 wins by anybody in the NFC South.
Jacob's the NFC South hater. Once we get up to your New England Patriots,
I couldn't watch a single game of NFC
we'll
South.
Bury the Patriots.
It was
You
awful.
can't do that in the South.
Hopefully,
God, it was terrible. I couldn't watch any football because that's all that's on in the South.
Hopefully, this season will be better. Wade, are you picking your hometown Panthers or are you your honorary Saints fan? Who are you going with?
Come on.
I'm going to go with neither one.
Oh, God, he's picking Tampa Bay.
The Bucks.
No, I'm picking Atlanta.
Okay. Desmond
think
Ritter
Atlanta-
leading to the promised land.
I think Atlanta's got the next young core. I think Desmond Ritter can kind of be the hiccup in this prediction, and I might look like a total idiot for it, but I think they have a running back that they can put 100% of their load on. And if they want to spread it around, they have Cordell Patterson still coming back and Tyler Algiers. You got to think that Arthur Smith was the coach for the Tennessee Titans when they gave Derrick Henry the ball 300 times a game a season, two years in a row. So they're going to be run heavy. So kind of takes Ritter out of it. And then when he does throw, he does have some talent with Drake London and Kyle Pitts. So I don't know. I think it's going to be close. I don't see it being an 11-win team. I think that the Falcons take the division at 9-8 with probably a late win over the Saints in Atlanta to edge them out. This will definitely be a one team gets in the playoff kind of deal, I think, from this division. So.
My pick is going to be the New Orleans Saints because I think quarterback-wise, they're probably set up the best with Derek Carr having the most experience. The only other one you could argue would be Baker Mayfield. And I don't know. He's been so up and down lately. I don't know how much you can trust him, especially I feel like it's going to be a down season for the Bucks after losing Tom Brady. So fan pick, I'm going the Saints. Who dat, baby? Get them back in the playoffs.